the average person probably doesn't know about all the lawsuits facing Elon Musk. I mean, there's some big name ones, like the OpenAI lawsuit or his pay package. Lawsuits against Elon Musk could have detriment to some of the brands, Tesla, X. We'll see how these play out.
Hi, I'm Jordan Hart. I'm a tech reporter here at Business Insider, and today we have another BI reporter joining us.
I'm Grace Kay, and I'll be spilling all the tea on the big cases and investigations against Elon Musk and his companies.
Let's do it, Grace. I spilled the tea. Has it been hard to obtain such information and just uncover more facts about these legal issues that Elon Musk is facing?
He has so many companies, they're in different parts of the country. He also has these very intense legal teams. He's been able to seal some of his cases. We had to look countywide, federal, state, to find the different lawsuits. I'm sure there's some we still haven't found, just the nature of the game. And there were different points. I worked with a few other people on the story where we were like, okay, there's so many now, we have to narrow it down because we can't include all of these in the story.
He has a pretty well-known ex, Grimes, also known as Claire Boucher. Can we talk a little bit about their case? I know they have something going on there between their kids.
Well, first, Musk filed a custody suit against Grimes in Texas court. Grimes kind of pushed back on that. She filed her own custody suit in California. There's this kind of legal battle between which state has custody. They're trying to prove, where are the children more. Currently, where the case stands is they filed to seal it from the public because of the personal nature of it. There was a lot of information about like nannies, child psychologists, things like that were more sensitive.
And, obviously Musk is worth hundreds of billions. Grimes is a pretty successful recording artist, musician, but definitely not touching the wealth of her ex. Do you think that comes into play here, the kind of the disparity between him having essentially endless access to endless resources, whereas she's still, well off, but definitely not uber wealthy like Elon Musk is?
I would say it's definitely like a David versus Goliath case. Since Elon Musk's takeover, Twitter, or how it's been rebranded as X, has faced a lot of lawsuits. Securities and Exchange Commission is investigating his stock purchases going into the acquisition. They're looking at whether he disclosed those purchases on time. So that's an ongoing investigation.
And Musk is a big proponent of free speech, as we all know. He's been very vocal about protecting free speech rights, and he's kind of putting his money where his mouth is and using his company to back someone up.
Elon Musk's company X has started an initiative to support people who've tweeted things that were maybe less savory or got them in hot water. So for example, there's this Disney actress, Gina Carano. She compared conservatives in America to what Jewish people experienced in Nazi Germany. And as a result, she was, no longer on the cast of The Mandalorian. So Elon Musk's ex is supporting her in bringing a lawsuit against Disney.
Could you imagine having someone there throwing their money behind you legally, financially, to protect your wildest tweets? A billionaire, one of the richest people in the world, is going to be 10 toes behind you, backing you up. If anything, you might even get a payday out of it.
So Musk is facing a lot of lawsuits from regulatory agencies. One of them is the National Labor Relations Board. They accused SpaceX of illegally firing some people after they wrote an open letter talking about Elon Musk and saying basically his work at Twitter and the things that he was posting were a distraction to the company. SpaceX responded by suing the NLRB.
What's at stake for Musk in the larger picture of this lawsuit?
The NLRB, if they had it their way, those workers would be rehired. That's something that's happened at Tesla similarly, where the NLRB stepped in. So the NLRB case still ongoing.
What would it mean in a larger sense if Elon Musk and SpaceX won this case against the NLRB?
They'd think twice the next time they tried to come in between him and one of his companies. With the Department of Justice case, maybe that would change some of SpaceX's hiring practices. The Department of Justice is actually suing SpaceX over allegations that the company discriminates against refugees. One of the things they cited in their lawsuit was that Elon Musk tweeted about how SpaceX couldn't hire people if they didn't have a green card due to security clearances in the country. The Department of Justice case also ongoing, so I guess it's kind of a wait and see. We'll see how these play out. The EEOC is actually suing Tesla for racial discrimination. There's been some reports of like racist characters drawn in the bathrooms, Nazi swastikas, things like that.
I mean, I definitely couldn't imagine going to work and, seeing racist images in a place where, I just want to, get my work done. Where are we at with this case?
So Tesla filed a motion to dismiss and a judge denied that, so it's going to progress to trial.
And Tesla is facing something on the product side, right?
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, or NHTSA, has been looking into different claims. So they've looked into issues with steering, phantom braking, things that could impact the safety of customers. The Department of Justice is also looking into Tesla's driver assist software, so it has autopilot and full self-driving, and claims that Tesla might be misleading the public as to how, proficient or usable that software is.
And these are investigations so far, not full-blown lawsuits.
Yes, these are investigations.
Okay, so they're still kind of gathering information and looking into it and things like that, and to determine what's next.
Could there be recalls? Like, what does this mean for the future of Tesla's products?
Other major companies are also facing, issues with the Department of Justice. I know Apple has had some issues going on, Google. I mean, it seems like in the tech industry, this isn't necessarily a nail in the coffin or it doesn't seem like it's gonna super slow down what's going on at Tesla. Is that accurate?
No, yeah, I would say like some of that is just the nature of being a major company.
So let's talk about the big case, the $55 billion case that Elon Musk is facing right now.
So some shareholders in 2018, one shareholder representing others, filed a lawsuit alleging that Elon Musk's pay package was beyond the bounds of reasonable judgment. They argued that he had undue influence over this pay package because of his close relationship to people on the board. A judge heard that case last year, and then in January, she decided to strike down the pay package. She agreed that Musk had undue influence, so what Tesla did was, instead of appealing the case, they took the pay package back to Tesla shareholders and had them re-vote. So they voted in 2018 to approve it, and then they had them vote again in June to approve it. The shareholders approved it, and now Tesla has taken that vote back to the judge to say, shareholders are aware of what's going on. We brought in an independent oversight committee to make sure everything was above board, to see if she will reinstate the package. If she doesn't, they'll likely appeal and take it to, the leaders above this judge.
Elon has come out with the Cybertruck, and he's really pushing the autonomous driving in Tesla. It seems like he's really pushing for innovation in Tesla. Is that something that you think the shareholders are really impressed with? I mean, it seems like they're going to bat to pay him a lot of money. Why do you think that is?
So I think there's this underlying threat or fear that Elon Musk will step away from the company if they don't approve this pay package.
You think he would really do that?
He's very much a wild card. I would say a lot of his wealth is tied up in Tesla, so that seems unlikely to me.
Is Musk really in trouble here, or is he kind of got some insulation, some cushion, or complete immunity with his wealth of resources?
He can hire some of the best people in the business, pay them thousands of dollars an hour. There's been cases with some of his employees who sued him and they've won. Tesla's sent it back, and got it lower just because they could stay in the game that way financially. I think the thing you probably want to look at closely is just how regulators are responding and what that'll look like going forward.
There's also the court of public opinion. No matter what the outcome is in the legal courts, people will still kind of form their opinions about the nature of the cases and things like that. And I think it's pretty interesting, him being in charge of one of the biggest social media platforms out there right now, where people are sharing their opinions and calling him out in certain corners of X. I think it's really interesting to see what his money can and cannot buy. Did you guys watch Love Island this season?
I've seen half of the US season.
As a Love Island expert, it feels so weird that so many people are watching it this year, because I've been watching Love Island since 2019. Yeah, I was there when Love Island season 5 of the UK, when Molly May
Tommy Fury.
Come on now, yes.
No, I think the best Love Island season 2.
Yeah.
UK.
Oh my God. No, Grace, you don't even know what you just did.